Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Alex R. ASMR and I am back like a bowling ball that has bumped against the bumpers and fallen into the abyss. The way that I live generally is that in order to move forward, I smash against the side, and then I can get to the end. So I will smack up against, oops, I am working too hard, I'm getting burnt out, and then I go, bam, oh, I'm slacking off, or I've done too much of this, too much of that. Homeostasis kind of looks like achieving things and then neglecting things, and then somehow I move forward, and I'll be pretty productive, and I'll make stuff, and I'll write, and I'll make videos. But then, I think, like many, I will fall into the abyss and become lost. What happens to the bowling ball when it gets to the end and it falls? Somehow it travels all the way back to the beginning, where you can take it and you can start over. Well, I fell off for a few weeks, and then I got very ill with a sickness, and I was in bed reading books and sleeping. And then as I got better, I went to Paris, France. But really, I kept getting deeper and deeper and deeper, and I ended up in Beaconsfield. I ended up going so far that I ended up in a miniature village full of tiny people. It's not so much the physical places when you fall off the map, it's more like the psychological place that you can go. Because here's what I have figured out, and that is, I don't know anything. I'm reading a book right now called America by Jean Baudrillard, and it was written back, I think, in the late 80s, but so far it really holds up. So he travels across the United States, and of course he's a theoretical writer, and he's French, so it has this kind of floweriness, and it can be hyperbolic and very stylish. But he talks about astral America, like there's America of custom and ritual and blah blah blah, your lived America for real people, and then there's astral America, which is like endless highways and this kind of fantasy of America, which is very real. I don't even know how you talk about America without the fantasy of America, the image of America, because it's so vast. You have to talk about the Geist in order to make sense of a country. Astral America. I really have to agree with what I've read in this book and what I read in Native Realm, A Search for Definition. So a French writer and a Lithuanian Polish writer, both talking about Americans as being people that don't really live in history. We come from this land of new naivete. How do you say that word? Naivety, being naive, and kind of being, he says, in hyper-reality instead of reality. And I have felt that in America, history is always kind of competing against itself. We have many conceptions of history, and they're fighting each other for sunlight. And we as a people are very good at wiping our hands of the past over and over and over. So we have large amounts of displacement, and our zeitgeist tends to be move on at any cost and just plowing forward. I have felt every time I have traveled lately, having come from not traveling for most of my life to now only very recently seeing other places in the world, it is having maybe the expected effect of making me feel like an astral nothing. Making me feel like, oh my god, talking about off the map. See, I thought that for 3 weeks I had dropped off the map because I stopped filming ASMR and writing, and I got sick. And I stopped my routines because I was traveling. But I had a moment at the end of my journey in the miniature village when I was looking at all the tiny people with their little bows and arrows and their little zoo and the chimpanzee tea party, which apparently is based on a real thing, and looking at the tiny cafe and the tiny everything. And I thought to myself, dropped off what map? I think I was born and immediately started falling, just falling like everyone else, because I realized like that I was put in school, right? And I was separated from my parents, and I was put in school for most of my life, and I'd go into the school, and this frees up my parents to go solve problems in the community. Yeah? So they go to work, and I go to school. Now, it seems like a good idea to consolidate childcare, to have kids learn together, and free adults to solve problems in society. The question, and I think the dawning for me, is like, consolidated child care. Did I receive care? Did I receive human touch and affection and love? What kind of education did I receive? And my parents, what kinds of problems were they freed to solve? And were they compensated for their labor? And was it a fair amount of labor? Or was it most of their life, waking life? Was my education most of my waking life? And what was it? What was it? And what in the world are we doing? What is this map? What is this project? I really, when I go out in the world now, I am astonished and I am baffled and left with a shrinking sense of cohesion, or like identity coherence. And I realize that I am such an astral concept. It's like mostly gas, it's just hot air. As far as the historical nature of being an American, just like America is full of delightful material realities, so are these other countries. And I realize I've fallen off nothing. Nothing makes any sense. And I can't make sense of anything. All of this to say, there's really one major point to this, and that is, I think we have we see falling off the map as quite negative, yeah? Like, oh, if you have a goal and you're working on it, you know, you need to be having a lot of output, and, you know, we need to be on our path. And so when we fall off, we get sick, or something happens in life, and maybe even something good, you know, you get swept away by an adventure, but sometimes you're swept away in like grief, or, you know, things happen. You get derailed, and you go through a period of life where you're falling, and you're falling away from something, right? You have this sense of where you are now is sad because it's like related to where you were. And so you get this sense of like, look how far away I am. I've fallen off the map. I've fallen away. You know, gone off script and all that. But God is good to be generous to that relationship. And, you know, fall off of what? You know, leave where? You know, if I haven't made, like what is being American, right? When I go to other places, I don't know. When I stop making ASMR, because ASMR is something that I do at this desk, at this house, in these walls, and I'm falling off the map, why do I even do ASMR? I feel sometimes a little bit of pressure to upload and whatever. That's an interesting thing to get in touch with. Why does it have to be so strict, right? Being an American, what if we loosen that completely up? Making ASMR, what if I loosen that up? What if that doesn't mean what I thought it meant? What if I just introduce some chaos into it? Who knows? Maybe I don't make a video, maybe I return and make whatever the heck I want. Yeah, why not? I think, you know, tumbling down, being the bowling ball, and just tumbling down, hitting things, and, you know, just moving on. That itself is something really interesting. Point B is really interesting. Forget about point A. Point B, there's always that infinite place of reinvention, and that infinite place of saying, I thought I was one way, I thought life was one way, I have no idea, and I'm letting go. I'm letting go into creativity. I'm going to create whatever I want, or I'm going to, it's like you're blown outside of yourself, you know? You're just blown outside of yourself in point B. And it can be really scary. It can also be very liberating. Point B. Can you do your job or your hobbies in point B? Forget about point A. Whatever it was, forget about it. Can you approach an old hobby? Can you fall in love with it again from a new perspective? Can you express yourself in a different way? God, sometimes point B is like, I need to dress completely differently than I dress. I need to like leave and go live somewhere else. I need a new job. Like, I think it's so normal to fall off the map, and it's an amazing thing. And that journey, when the ball returns, I was still thinking about bowling. The ball returning underneath the lane and you can't even see it, that's a whole other half of bowling. I think I'm trying to say that it's a necessary element, and I'm the type of person that gets very anxious when I feel like I don't understand and I can't intellectualize something, and I fall away from my routine and my, oh no, I'm not being productive, I'm not, fill in the blank, or I'm not who I thought I was. And then that surrendering to it feels lovely, because you realize that everything has always been astral, built on these ideas, and astral America, this kind of infinite desert, this kind of chaos of culture, this huge geography, I think that lives in me for sure as part of my identity. And it's kind of good to embrace the open desert, but the unpopulated, and kind of let go of all the constructs and whatever, and just embrace falling off the map, onto some other map. Oh my gosh, y'all, I have to show you this image. Check out this freaking image. So it's a meme, and on the top it says, with an asterisk, and all these pictures of like esoteric diagrams and stuff, and it says, continues to establish different systems of representation all the time so as to compensate for the need for order and rationality, aka gets stuck in a never-ending layering of meaning that keeps putting in crisis his own structures of logic, compared to B. There's a picture of like a waterfall and a mountain range and like a monk guy. It says, abandons the need for metaphysical explanation and enjoys pure living. Dang. Call out post for half of you watching this video and me. When I looked at that miniature village, I had this moment, like as a meme, but realized in my whole body, where I was like, come on, follow. Like I was stressed, like, oh, I haven't made ASMR in a while, I haven't written my short stories, I need to like go back to my diet, my blah. And I was like, it's an illusion. Falling off the map to what? Yeah, nothing. It's just all astral, these layers of meaning that were for what? School for what? America for what? Texas for what? My identity for what? ASMR for what? And just be. ASMR is just my being. It's not a schedule. It's just my being. Look at this miniature village. This is not different than a normal village. The constructed nature of it. Just shooting through this world of ideas like a playground to all of its horror and delight. One just is inside the miniature village. I had a bean to cup coffee at the miniature village. Bean to cup coffee was obtained and enjoyed, and I have been transformed. I don't know if this video made any sense, but I do not care. Talk about astral. What even is the algorithm? Can't see it. I don't know where it is. It doesn't matter. If you're seeing this video, then this video is in front of you. I went shopping in Paris. I went thrift shopping because I love thrift shopping. Talk about being an American. Oh, I miss thrift shopping. I miss freaking Goodwill so much. I was born in the Goodwill. I fell into the Goodwill where the public school system in Texas could not hold me. Goodwill provided meaning and my first worldly education. I have to say, looking at other people's stuff, looking at the possibilities of what other people wear, other people are living. So in London, the thrift shopping here is horrible, but in Paris there was a lot more thrift stores where I finally was able to get some new clothes I could afford. Oh, I've been to I have some socks now that like don't have holes in them, and I got, anyway, I'm gonna make a video and it's gonna be my stuff that I got, so please look forward to that. I am very happy to be back. I might not know nothing, but I am very happy to be back. I am feeling quite good being in this room, in these four walls again, and back, and even if it's an illusion, some, I don't know, sense of stability. So I'm very excited to be back. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you very, 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 very soon. Good night if you are going to sleep, and I hope you are resting. But if not, then good.